How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. There is a sneaky reason we are seeing some price manipulation on Bitcoin, and I want to go through it. I know I made a little bit of a video yesterday talking about some price manipulation, but there's something I didn't cover, something that I think really explains why BlackRock and Fidelity aren't actually buying even more Bitcoin. If you don't mind, hit subscribe. Turn on the bell notification underneath the video so you can see future videos just like this. While you're down there, there's a link to Margex in case you want to trade cryptocurrencies using leverage. This seems like a pretty darn good time to do it as we continue to push for a breakout. If you look over the last 2 weeks, we've hit this line 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. We've been trying to break out to new all-time highs. In case you want to start trading, you can use the link underneath to Margex. And they're doing a $5,000 BOEM airdrop. So you can get up to $5,000 in BOEM with that link. Start trading on Margex or hit participate if you already have an account. And you get more depending on how much you trade. So definitely check that out underneath the video. Now, Bitcoin just made another attempt at 72,000 and got rejected. At least at the time of this recording, we're in the upper 70 or the lower 71,000s. And honestly, I know a lot of people are annoyed because we've been going sideways for 3 months. Let me just give my quick viewpoints on that. I think it's healthy to go sideways for a while. You get out the weak hands, you build up new strength. There's a lot of news that has come out and a lot of changes, even just politically, that have happened over this time period where the government in the US does seem to have flipped bullish on crypto, or at least they're open to voting pro-crypto. Also, we've seen a lot of large hedge funds buy Bitcoin during this period. We've seen massive amounts of inflows recently from the Bitcoin ETFs, more ads, more people just generally thinking positively about Bitcoin. Now, Semler Scientific is another company that has been making some news. We'll cover the manipulation here in a second, but Semler Scientific just bought another 247 Bitcoin for $17 million, and this is not the end of it. Okay, Semler Scientific is showing a commitment to its Bitcoin strategy. They are possibly going to buy up to another $150 million worth of Bitcoin with debt. Okay, so they are planning on almost 4xing their purchase so far and buying now 9 figures worth of Bitcoin. So over the last couple months, Bitcoin ETFs are buying hundreds of millions of dollars of Bitcoin again. Semler Scientific is using MicroStrategy playbook to raise another 150 million. Central banks are cutting interest rates. Global monetary supply is rising again. Wall Street and corporate media are actively pushing Bitcoin to boomers. It's a perfect storm, and there's not much hype. Okay, I haven't had too many people reach out to me asking if they should buy Bitcoin. Of course, that was the case when the ETFs were being approved when we spiked up to 74K, but now it's just been kind of quiet. Now, I do think there's something interesting happening right now, and we'll have some more stuff to talk about after this, but I made a video yesterday talking about the manipulation that's happening right now, and to be clear, some of it is normal. There's manipulation in all markets, but it got me thinking about why BlackRock and Fidelity don't go buy more Bitcoin. They're obviously very pro-Bitcoin. They have trillions of dollars, and yet some days there's zero inflows, some days they have negative inflows, some days they're just, a couple million in inflows. Like Fidelity, I think, had 3 million yesterday, while BlackRock had 340 something million in inflows. And it got me thinking about who's actually selling, right? How much is there to buy? If you're looking at it from BlackRock and Fidelity's perspective, they want the price to go up. Yes, definitely. But they also want to buy a lot of Bitcoin before that happens. Okay? They want to buy as much Bitcoin as they really can, because then they'll get more AUM. It's better for their clients to buy at 70 and then for it to go up to 140, then for it to go from 70 to 140 and then have their clients buy. Because one, it looks really good in terms of percent gain. It's bullish. More people will then want to get into the ETFs if it has a really good return. And there's a lot of money in it as well. Like, they'd rather buy into an ETF that has 20 million in AUM as opposed to half that, or 20 billion in AUM as opposed to half that. But also, they can't necessarily buy all that much without shooting up the price. Okay, so who's really selling right now? Um, there are probably some people that are taking some profits that are bearish, but I mean, when you consider we've gone sideways for 3 months, like retail probably isn't selling all that much. I suppose there's some whales that could be selling. Okay, maybe they're buying some altcoins and they want to get rid of some Bitcoin or something. Otherwise, there may be some exchanges, maybe some miners. Miners don't have that much to sell anymore, though. So really, there's just not as many sellers as there was a couple months ago, right? With a lot of miners getting ready for the new new halving, right? They were shedding some of their Bitcoin to get better balance sheets, to stock up on cash. There was also just a lot of hype that swallowed up a lot of that Bitcoin, and people were bidding up the price because we were running up to the halving. So the price shot up, but now we're trending sideways. It's really hard not to push us up to new all-time highs if you're BlackRock and Fidelity. Like, you have billions and billions of dollars of capital that you want to put in this asset. How do you put it in this without spiking up the price? Well, you do it slowly. And of course, some hedge funds want to buy slowly anyways through the ETFs. But if you're doing the marketing, you don't want everyone to buy on the same day. Of course, that would look good that Bitcoin's spiking up in price, but if you want a lot of Bitcoin, you have to be able to accumulate for a little while at least, right? If they go out and buy $1 billion, $2 billion worth of Bitcoin, which is very possible, they can do it internally. They can allocate $1 billion to Bitcoin through other portfolios, BlackRock specifically, Fidelity also. It would spike up the price. I don't know if they really want that. They want to go as long as possible buying up Bitcoin. But again, it's getting harder. It's getting harder and harder because there aren't really that many people that are looking to sell, I think, around this price. Especially when we keep on tapping the glass. You run out of sellers at some point, especially with the Michael Saylors of the world. So eventually they'll just have to bite the bullet and say, you know what, we're just going to buy $500 million. And that might have been what we saw earlier this week, right? We bought $500 million in a day, or close to $1 billion in a day as well. They just had to bite the bullet and start buying a lot more Bitcoin. Now, that didn't spike the price. Maybe they got some deal. Maybe they found some miner, for example, or some entity that was willing to sell them, and that's why they bought so much that day or those 2 days, because they knew that they wouldn't spike the price. They're not going to Coinbase and hitting limit order 71,000 and then just buying a ton, or market order buy Bitcoin, right? No, these entities are buying it from some other party that's trying to offload it, like an OTC deal. So yes, I think we have much higher to go because the selling is getting thin, and eventually other buyers will come in and buy enough that we just spike up. Okay, so I don't think we have much longer here at this point. But what do I know? We could always fall back down. I think we're gaining strength. And with global liquidity moving up as well, that is fuel to the fire. That's like you have a little bit of fire going and then you pull up a bunch of gasoline and you start spraying it on the fire. So I think we are in for a wild ride. Again, if you do want to trade crypto, if you want to go long on this and make even more if we move up, you can use the link to Margex. Now, let me know your thoughts on that and the manipulation. But again, I think it makes a lot of sense that if you want a large allocation, you have to buy slowly because there's just not that much to buy out there. So 2021 all-time high, we barely got there. It's a house of cards. 2024 all-time high, very strong base. Nation states, Wall Street, ETFs, all causing us to easily get up to 70,000. Now the question is, where do we go from here? Okay, this is interesting. GME just reported a surprise earnings release. The company was unable to take any financial actions before this. The moment it released earnings, it immediately followed up with the sale of 75 million shares to raise more capital at the expense of the average Joe. I saw some people excited about this because they have a lot of cash now. This is interesting. This stock was up 35%. Roaring Kitty was a billionaire, basically, on paper. In the pre-market, they announced this. Now the stock's down 20% in the pre-market. Now, I'm still interested to see what he says in his live stream today. Last time I saw, there's still like 12,000 people waiting. That's going to happen around 12 p.m. Eastern time, 9 p.m. Pacific time. I'm going to be watching this. This is going to be one of the most interesting live streams ever in YouTube history. And yeah, depending on what he does with those options, there's going to be a ton of volatility today. Be ready for that. It's going to be a crazy day. Let me know your thoughts underneath the video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts on the manipulation. I'll see you in the next.